When he wants to plant himself in front, he's hard to move.
McDavid wins the draw back to Cody Ceci, shakes off a check from Haula toward the net and deflected away. And Jake DeBrusk has it for Boston. I thought Haula might have gotten away with a hold. Saw the jersey tugged. Sends it around the boards, playing with Ryan and McDavid right now. McDavid setting a screen for Ryan to move through, then winds up in the corner. No penalty was called.
Boiling over tonight, no different. That should have been a penalty on the jersey of McDavid as Haula grabbed it. Clifton's going to play him hard in the corner. They take each other down. The one thing Connor McDavid's always done, though, he battles through all of those checks, all of those sticks, never really complains about it and continues to push forward. Does have a goal and 2 assists in the last 3 games. Through all of that attention, he still finds a way to produce and be creative. But you can tell it starts to get to him after a while in certain situations, and as he's often done, eventually he just explodes through it and makes something happen.
And he had fallen down, then Coyle gave it away, tucked inside, a sloppy sequence. Riley might have gotten away with that stick parallel, and the crowd unhappy. Pastrnak had it poked away.
Interference right there. McDavid was trying to make a play on that puck, and Riley just continued to push him off and wouldn't allow him to get to it. With the way they've called this game, I'm surprised that wasn't called. Mano a mano, Allmark fights it off. Here's the penalty that wasn't called. You can't put a stick into a guy and not let him skate towards a puck. That's definitely one that was missed.
Connor McDavid and Louis and Jack, well, they showed a nice, well, I don't know if nice is the right word, but an example of what he has to go through. Story continues, you think, Bob, when it comes to the captain?
Well, I mean, I think there's first of all, the team's not winning, so there's a little bit of frustration with that, and we've had tonight in particular has been a difficult night for the officials both ways. It's established. It's a loser's lament when the Oilers are down 2-1 and we're complaining about the refs. It's been bad, but you can see over the course of the last 2 or 3 games some of the frustration that Connor's had in terms of getting picked off there by Alex Edler, who's done that 8,433 times in his career, getting worked over here from behind. He comes with the territory, and Connor's trying to get a call and just doesn't seem to get any. I don't know what it is with the NHL. They don't want their star players getting more. They got to play their way through it. That's just the nature of the game. And Connor's showing a little bit of frustration there tonight. I mean, Eric Haula pulled a Tim Horton there. He's water skiing right off of him. No call. He did get a power play later in that sequence, and then down in the corner here. So, but again, it's been both ways. Like Foligno, that should have at minimum been an even up with Hyman. This one here with Riley fighting away. And the Niemelainen one with Frederick, I mean, I'm sorry, Edmonton should have been shorthanded in that scenario.
Yeah, I like physical hockey. You think of Jacob Trouba and the hits he's had the last couple nights. Those are great hits. But as soon as you put your stick parallel to the ice on an opponent's waist and or you grab them, to me, those should be automatic calls. And we go back to 2004, 2005 when there was a lockout. That's what the players fought for, the Stars, the Shanahans, the Iginlas, the Trevor Lindens. I think it's time to revisit that and have that be the standard. Stick parallel, it touches your waist, boom, you call it. Then let the guys skate, let them play. In front of the net, it's a little bit more of a gray area, Bob. I don't mind that at all, but in those areas you have to let those players skate because they are fast. It is hard to defend, but it makes the game that much quicker, that much more fun to watch.
It's absolutely amazing. Connor McDavid doesn't get more calls because of his speed. He should get them. The referees just choose to ignore it.
Edmonton has a legitimate gripe about McDavid not able to draw penalties. His last 8 playoff games, he has drawn 0 penalties. That defies reality. I know that the referees put the whistles away in the playoffs, but the guy is so fast and he creates such openings and puts defenders at such disadvantages. The guy gets fouled all the time.
Pushed ahead by Maroon. Here comes McDavid. Out of breakaway. Connor McDavid deeks. Out of stop.
The speed of Connor McDavid. I mean, he just simply blows past the Nashville defense.
The hands, stick gets parallel to the ice. I say it's a hook. Parallel up on the hands. Behind the plate. Just watch the front of the net. Connor McDavid and Connor Murphy. Referee's watching this whole thing. Okay, nothing happens, no call.
So here's the back check, and McDavid's had that physical edge to the game. He follows through, takes down Fisher, and then Fisher grabs onto the leg. And that's what he didn't like too much, and he's waiting. The linesman finally comes over and says, let him go.
He is literally blanket coverage. Martin Nook. I got you. I got my man. I still got my man. All right, let's take a break.
And then there it is there. There actually isn't a call.
Yeah, you're right.
If you're going to pick a guy to cancel out on the power play, and look at McDavid. He's got the arm around Brandon Sutter, and he's trying to keep Brandon Sutter from getting involved.
With McDavid.
And here's Draisaitl off to McDavid. Dave Tippett will load him up after all penalty kills, and McDavid looked like that time Sutter got his stick in the skates. Wasn't called, and keeping Edmonton very much in the game. Connor McDavid feels like this could have been a power play. Still a half minute on the power play. McDavid barreling in, tripped up by Weber. McDavid frustrated. No call.
Connor McDavid here looks to get hacked down. That stick to the skate by Horvat, a missed call, but he stays with the puck. Looked around, no call, was surprised.
Flying in, McDavid to the net, and he takes out Markstrom.
And I think McDavid's going to get a penalty here for goaltender interference. As you can see, he hits the puck, but there he hits the right skate of McDavid. He goes into the goaltender's blocker. He almost got the worst of this.
So he knows exactly where he has to kind of jump to get around, and right there, that lean, it's the hip more or less than the knee, kind of comes in and clips McDavid, and he feels that Giordano extended the leg out at the last second. Tyler Ennis to get into position and try to the backhand side. Woo, a big step up there by DeMello.
With a league-leading 9 power play goals. Center's tipped on net and in. Nudged in by Connor McDavid.
He was right there in the blue paint. There was a battle ensuing, and right here, gets that body position. He gets rammed from behind, and that's why Draisaitl didn't like it. It's Lyubushkin that gives him a pretty good shot head into the post right there. Should be another penalty to the Arizona Coyotes, but I'll guarantee you there won't be.
And Edmonton gets in a much-needed change. How about that collision down in the boards there?
By McDavid as he gives him the shoulder in, and man, he's a big guy. That cross-check in the numbers. Right there, Powell drives him into the board.
I mean, did you hear that delay? When I go to Gene, I expect an immediate response. Here's McDavid, tripped up by Nosek. No penalty? Wow.
You're just allowed to put a stick into the skates.
Even McDavid threw his head back.
Between is actually Forbert too.
Yeah.
Nosek and Forbert both. So that's a trip. 100% of the time, it's a trip.
A couple of non-calls that didn't go your way in terms of Connor McDavid.
You think?
Yeah.
Did you see that up there too? I saw that on the bench too. I just didn't know if anybody else saw it.
I mean, how do you guys respond? I mean, it wasn't. You know, it seems to be a common trait.
It's frustrating. You know what? It's frustrating because the tone is set on the first call of the game on Draisaitl, which shouldn't be a call, but if you're going to set the tone like that, you better call the rest of the game like that, and that's not the way it went.
And all the way back to center, handled by McAvoy. A hard hit by Draisaitl, freed it back up, and it's going to be a penalty.
On Keith, and then the penalty is Draisaitl and Marchand come together.
Overall, do you think he needs more calls in his favor?
I'm not going to comment anymore on the referee. I just thought there was a missed call on the goal, the Draisaitl penalty to start it off. I thought when a referee does that early, he sets a standard in the game, and that wasn't the standard that was upheld through the game.
There were a couple of non-calls against Connor that didn't go obviously your way. The bench seemed pretty upset about that. How do you kind of push through that and continue playing when that happens?
Yeah, I mean you have to. You don't have a choice, right? You can complain about it a little bit, but at the end of the day, if it's not called, then it's not called, and you just got to continue to play and you know, obviously try and draw the next one, or you know, just like I said, just keep playing.
How much concern is there in Edmonton that he's not getting star treatment from the officials?
I would say there's a fair level of concern. Everything that Connor McDavid does is special, so we shouldn't be surprised that our attention is drawn when penalties aren't being called on Connor McDavid when it appears that he's earned that. Now, this was against the St. Louis Blues, and you can see Jay Bouwmeester is trying to tag him. Here's Pietrangelo, catches him on the hip no fewer than twice. Connor McDavid's looking over quickly at the officials, and not only is he expecting a penalty on that play, which wasn't called, by the way, he was looking for the penalty shot. Now, the National Hockey League isn't going to issue a press release saying, the on-ice officials blew the call, but the reality is, as we can all see, that they missed the call there, so perhaps by us paying attention to it, maybe they'll pay more attention to what's going on the ice.
All right. What's the next step, though, to becoming a winning player, a playoff winning player? Because you're not going to get the calls you do in the regular season. He didn't last year, and that was a bit of an issue.
Yeah, and he complained about it a little bit. He wasn't getting the calls. I quite honestly, and I I hope I say it correctly, just shut up.
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. I do think he has to change his game a bit. Not turn into a checker, obviously, but
Right.
he's talked about culture, he's talked about standard, he's talked about winning. You're not going to outscore, you're not just going to fill the net during playoffs and outscore teams. You have to play on the other side of the puck. You have to have that business type attitude of nothing's going to bother me, no matter how you're going to check me. Don't talk about it, just play hard, play through it. But the other side of the puck is that important too, come playoff time. I think he's learning. Tip's going to have to get that whole group. If they're talking about a Stanley Cup, they're all going to have to play a little bit a different way and not just try to outscore teams.
There is motivation because you never want to be the guy that is the best hockey player in the world that didn't win a Stanley Cup. Marcel Dion, you could see how much it affected him when that was being talked about with him. It's something you don't want.
Well, it took Mario a long time.
Yep.
Sakic a long time. It took Yzerman a long time.
Yep.
Well, just early on here, Ovechkin. I didn't think they were ever going to win in Washington, but Ovi changed his game a bit, and they end up winning a cup.
All right, good stuff again.
Connor, sorry you've been asked this already in the last day or so, but a lot of talk about your skill and the ice time you log, but how few penalties that you attract from your play. And I'm wondering, do you feel deserving of more calls your way, the style in which you play?
I guess I just got to shut up about this, but yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'll leave it.
Sure.